lesbos,
homos, sodomites,
everyone in between, who no matter what you identify as, straight, bisexual, I don't care.
Pansexual, queer gender,
Momsexual, I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it is.
I mean, I guess it's a thing. I think
What
it's
is
called
it?
a MILF.
Yeah, there you go. Dilf. Whoever you are. Bear. Mom.
Otter.
Cat. Whoever's listening, I don't care. You're listening. That's what matters.
All we care is that you're hitting that download button.
And, there's like that nice little 5-star if you want to give that to us.
That's right. That's what we care about.
And we care that you're learning and spreading
the queer
history.
agenda.
Queer agenda. Spread that agenda. Spread it wide.
Spread it thick.
Thick? Yeah. Get that thick
Nice
spread.
And thick. Would you rather your partner have like thick, creamy cum or more of like a runny cum?
No, not runny. Runny is nasty. Because at least thick comes easy to clean. Like, it's in like one or two spots. But if it's runny, it's just everywhere and
like
it's
snot.
dripping. Yeah, no. Not like thick. Not like mayonnaise thick, but like...
Now you have like a whole spectrum of how thick it can be.
Yeah. It depends. It can be like everybody's, like, even like one person semen will be different textures. It's not always
well,
one
I get that. I
specific
know
thing.
that.
It depends on if you're
I have been
dehydrated.
around semen. Okay? I have had some semen
I know
in my life.
you were on a boat and you're around some semen.
Wow, that is a dad joke and it has no place on this podcast. Okay? We can do that in 10 years whenever we have kids, or I have kids and you have 10 cats at that point. Then we can do the dad jokes, but not until then.
Yeah, no, not runny. Like, that, no.
No, not running.
Like,
no.
in between is good.
A nice mid texture, a good consistency, almost like hair paste.
No.
Maybe? No? That's too thick?
That's like sticky.
Well, it depends on how thick is your hair paste.
It needs to be, okay. So it should not be fully like the color of milk. It should be a little clear. Like right in between.
Now my stomach's turning. My stomach's turning. Oh, I just...
The more the better.
All right, so...
If it's like a volcano...
Yeah?
All right.
Why do you want more?
Because it's fun.
It's not fun. It's all over everywhere, and you have to do something with it. It's just
It's
awful.
fun for like 10 seconds, and then immediately you're like, no.
I feel like I would be 10% more attracted to men if they didn't have semen.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
It's like one of my biggest turn-offs, and then I feel weird because like if I like, which it's been a while, but if I sucked a guy off or I gave him a hand job, and then when it gets close to the end, I start getting anxiety. No, I would start getting anxiety because I was like, oh, now there's going to be this everywhere. So then I would just get up and leave, or
that's the worst.
I know, and that's really awful to do to a person, but I just didn't want.
You are the worst.
I don't want the
You're the
final.
worst person. You're like, oh, you're okay.
I
know you're almost there.
person.
I'm gonna leave. You
I
can finish
was
yourself.
the worst person. I was like, here, I'm going to give you a few moments alone so you can wrap this up. Here's the towel. Do not get anything on anything.
Here's a moist towelette.
Exactly. I'll be back in a few moments. No, I know. I realized I was the worst person. I was. But you know what?
You know what? You were still my best friend. So
I was.
I never judged you.
Thank you.
Much.
You judged me. That's okay. I judged you. That's what best friends do. They judge the other.
You know what? The judgment helps you grow. Mm-hmm. By judging each other, you help your best friend grow.
That's right. Well, you judge them, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop being friends. It doesn't mean you're going to be less friends. It doesn't mean you're not going to still accept them, but judge them.
You know what my favorite part of our relationship has been?
What?
The fact that in our entire relationship, you've been actually mad at me like 3 times.
Yeah.
And of those 3 times... Every time, I just pretended like you weren't mad at me.
That's true.
And I just kept... I was like, so what are we doing today? And you wouldn't answer me. And I'd be like, okay, well, this is what we're going to have for dinner. And I'd sit down and I'd like eat sitting next to you as you're angry and just pretend like you weren't mad.
This is very hard to do. The one time that I really remember like truly being mad at Paul was when he decided he was going to scare me one night. And I don't like being scared. And I don't mean like, oh, I don't like being scared. No, I don't like it. I don't watch scary movies.
You whipped a Gatorade bottle at my head.
And I would do it again. I would whip 3 Gatorade bottles at your head. I don't like being scared. I don't find it amusing. I don't find it fun. I don't find it thrilling or exhilarating. I don't like it. I avoid it at all costs.
You know what? It was really funny until he almost punched a hole through the wall and the door and almost ripped the door off and almost jumped off the balcony. But before that, it was really funny.
But I'm not dramatic at all. I'm going to throw myself off this balcony since you scared me. That'll teach you all. I was really mad, though. I even wrote a passive-aggressive post on Facebook. That's how mad I was. I did.
Oh, I probably ignored it.
Oh,
I probably liked it.
You probably had no idea that it was even about you.
I
just
commented,
like, wow, what's that mad about?
I would like comment on it. Wow, I can't believe that person. How?
Oh my god, exactly, right? That would be some shit that you would do.
And then I like it.
Yeah.
Or I haha it.
Who does this? No. Although I will tell you this, if you don't get your shit for my wedding, I am genuinely going to be mad about it, and you are not going to be able to ignore it.
No, you have to help me, because if you don't help me, I'm not... Like,
I'm going to help you,
okay,
Paul.
good.
Jesus, I've been telling you for months.
I'm never on top of things.
This is real life. I'm getting married twice technically, but once since you've known me.
I am the worst... Listen... I am the worst person at being on top of something. I need if
That's not what your boyfriend says.
You know what? I'm the worst at being on top of things that need to be done. Yes. Like, if somebody's like, hey, the world's gonna end if you don't send this message by 3 p.m. It'll be like 3:05 and I'll be like, well, fuck, I fucked up. I look outside, everything's done. Like, if I'm not, like, if my phone's not like, ding, do this, guess what? It's not gonna happen. It just won't happen.
I'm gonna be up your ass. And I hope I don't get lost in that thing.
It's gone. Good luck. Good luck. That's all I gotta say.
All right. We're actually doing a podcast today. It's been 6 minutes of us rambling about...
You know what? That's what you're here for.
Yeah, that's what they want to hear. Actually, today is a much more light, fun episode. At least it's fun for me, because I love Bible stories.
Let me tell you, the Bible stories that we cover, like when we covered David and Jonathan, it's basically Evan educating me on all the crazy shit that he was actually taught. Yeah. And me just being like, are you stupid?
Yeah,
and being
pretty
like,
much.
You actually believe? What?
That's true.
I will say that I believed it.
What?
You never believed in Santa Claus, did you?
No, I didn't, no.
So, tweet us. When did you learn that Santa Claus wasn't real? You know when I learned when Santa Claus wasn't real? I already told you, but I'm going to tell everybody else.
Good.
One year, my mom decided that Santa Claus and my mom were both going to share the same kind of wrapping paper. And I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, and I was like, Mom, why does Santa Claus have the same exact wrapping paper as you?
And then you found... I think you actually did tell our listeners that story.
Let me tell you guys something. I drink when we do this podcast, so
he has no idea what he said in the past.
I listened to it afterwards, and I'm like, wow, you're funny.
This is the second time you have drug your mother's name through the mud because she had the same... Maybe her and Santa Claus just shop at the same places.
They shop...
You ever think of that?
They shop at the same Walmart in Indiana?
Yeah. It's cheap there. Santa Claus is getting all his guns in Indiana. He's got to make a pit stop so he can keep the North Pole.
Well, he does have to drive through Chicago. So when he's flying over Chicago, he's like, all right, Rudolph, you got that fucking... Make sure
doing what... Yeah.
You know what? He's got Rudolph's nose as like a laser pointer. He's just making sure that shit's
just
ready.
Opens up and it just be a machine gun. No, he's doing what every other person does. You're on your way to Chicago, so you stop in Indiana and you get a gun and you bring it to Chicago and they're like, wow, they have all these guns in Chicago. I wonder where they got all these guns. It must be that they're just shitting them out their ass. Where the fuck do you think they're getting the guns? It's fucking half hour to Indiana. You just... jump right over the border.
I'm pretty sure you can go to Walmart in Indiana and buy like a legit gun.
You can go. You can get whatever the fuck you want there. And people are like,
do you remember 4th of July in Indiana?
Oh,
people
God.
literally like, okay, wherever you're listening, listen to this. The laws in Indiana, like Indiana just doesn't give a fuck. I remember...
unless you're gay, then they really give a fuck.
Then they give a fuck. But I remember in Indiana... Like, every year in school, they'd be like, all right, people, when you're lighting your fireworks this year, make sure blah, blah. Like, there was a whole lecture because they would sell, like, grenades in Indiana for 4th of July. Like, literally, you could blow a hole in the street on the 4th of July.
There's no rules.
Whatever you want to buy, fuck it.
You can buy whatever you want.
As long as it's not a dildo for a gay man.
Which isn't it? It's funny, though. It's true. There's just, like, practically no laws on anything except for real strict laws about queer people, which I mean, less now.
Indiana got boycotted by major corporations because fucking Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, which at the time was in Indiana, was like, you know what? I'm going to pass this law that says if they're gay, you can do whatever you want to them. You can discriminate them. I don't care.
You can deny
and
them
then
housing. You can
literally
kick them out of the
everybody
restaurant.
was like, "No, we're not going to Indiana."
He was the first one that did it before North Carolina did it. Like, he was going to do it before, and it was a bad idea. And surprisingly, North Carolina was like, "I think we can make this work, guys." And you know what? To their credit, they've been trying to make it work. I mean, they've been having sponsorships pulled left and right. Who knows how much money they're hemorrhaging, but they're sticking fast to their guns. So good for you guys. You won, I guess. Like, I don't know what you're benefiting from that.
For like 10 more years. For like two more years.
Yeah, 2 more years. So, anyways, so today, all I say, today we're going back to Sunday school. We're going to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah.
My favorite.
Yeah, so you probably hear us reference it all the time, because we do. Either we talk about Sodomites, talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. I think...
Or we just talk about anal.
Well, that's true too. I think in like our second or third episode, I talked about Sodom and Gomorrah, and it was like a real quick rundown. But that was way back when.
That was before we were good.
Exactly. Before we had all this experience.
And you know what? We're still using the same microphone, so
we still got our same little setup with our one table and our one microphone.
We have 2 tables stacked on top of each other. I'll have you know.
Yes, because we are advanced and fancy. But yeah, but our audio is better than that episode.
It's we've learned.
Yeah.
We've learned.
If you think our audio is bad now, go listen to episodes 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then you come back and tell me about our audio. Or episode 5 where you can hear me just.
Though I will say in one of the latest episodes, you hear me.
You
hear me eating in the background. I'm eating my pizza, and you just hear like.
Oh no! Yes, because you decide you're going to stuff a whole pizza in your face while we're fucking recording a hot podcast.
I was hungry.
Bitch, do it before we get here. Before I get here.
I don't have time. I'm a busy person.
Mm-hmm. I'm a busy person.
And now I'm like chewing on passion fruit seeds. So sorry.
Okay. All right, guys. So Sodom and Gomorrah. So a couple things. So I'm going to tell you the story. And then we'll talk about, like, some of the ramifications. And then, of course, now, like, I just can't. I don't like either of it. I don't like the people that interpret the Bible literally, and I don't like the people that take obvious things and pretend that the Bible doesn't say what it says.
And I hate people who pick and choose.
Oh,
when they're like,
I really hate that.
Well, I know that I wore pants.
Let the pants thing go.
and I know that my brother also had premarital sex. Mm-hmm. And I know that my other brother is a convict.
This asshole.
But you're living your true life, and that's a sin.
That's a sin.
That's the worst sin. And I just threw Evan's entire family under the bus.
Thank you so much for exposing all my family history.
Hey, you know what? We threw my dad under the bus.
That's true. That's true. That's fair. That is fair. Yeah. Where was I going before that? Because here's my thing. Because as much as I hate people that interpret the Bible literally, I also hate when the Bible is pretty clear about something. Like, the Bible is like, the Bible condones slavery. Like, very openly gives slave masters a manual on how to treat their slaves. And people that'll be like, well, you know, in the context, that's not really what they meant. What they meant was, if you hire people to work for you and you treat them really well, this is what you should do. And that's not what it means, motherfuckers. The Bible was condoning slavery. I'm sorry that you've decided to put your faith behind a book that condones slavery, sexism, rape, murder, incest, a litany of other things. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. That's what happens when you find a book that's fucking 4,000 years old, written by sheep herders. It's not going to have great material. So,
and these sheep herders probably didn't get a good education. I'm just gonna assume. Just guess. But you know what? These scientists don't know what they're talking
about.
Oh
no, definitely not. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, there's good, well-intentioned Christians today that are trying to spin the Bible to be like, look,
there's
Sodom and
Gomorrah. There's American Idol, right?
Well, yeah, but that's not what that is. But there is a kid that grew up in the IFB, Jeremiah. Can't think of Jeremiah's last name. I know his boyfriend.
Anyways, there's good queer Christian representation.
There is, and we're not attacking queer people of faith. My only point is that, like, don't say the Bible says something that doesn't. Like, the Bible condemns homosexuality. I wish it didn't, but it fucking does. And it'd be like, that's not the real interpretation. That's not what they meant to say. Fuck yes it is. Because it's a fucking book. It's a book written by people. You can still have faith. You can still believe in a God. You can still be a practicing Christian if you want. But you can't change what your book is. Or you can change your book, but if you're going to use the Bible, you can't. It is what it is. So anyways.
That's why we brought you to the Church of Christianity.
That's right. We made this whole religion
we have our
for
own
you guys.
Bible.
Yeah.
This podcast is your new Bible.
That's
Congratulations.
right. Open it up. Study.
Spread it wide.
So the story of Sodom and Gomorrah can be found in Genesis, the first book of the Bible. I'll read a couple verses and then I'll kind of explain. So first of all, the backdrop to all of this. So you guys know Abraham. Have you heard of Abraham?
Abraham Lincoln, president?
You never heard Abraham, Isaac.
Is he the one who
Jacob.
killed his brother?
That's Cain. No, that's Cain.
Okay, to be fair, Evan knows the Bible left, like, you could say anything from the Bible, he would be like, that's from this story, this number, this page.
I'm not that good, but I know it well.
And then me, on the other hand, I tried to read the Bible one time to be a good child, and I opened it, and then I decided I want to start a fire outside, so I tried to use it as a fire starter. Did you know they coat the Bible in like anti-fire material? I could not get those pages to light on fire. I tried. I was trying. I took it inside. I put it on our gas stove. This is before you moved in. And I tried to light it on fire, and it would not go. So then I just threw it on the bottom. I poured gasoline on it, and it went up in flames. But I could not get it to light on fire.
Well, that was Jesus protecting his word. Did you hear about there's like a church that burned down, and I think some people died, but the entire church burned down, and the only thing that didn't burn were the Bibles, and people are like, it's a miracle.
No,
all the Bibles
they
didn't burn.
coat that shit.
Exactly. And also, what the fuck is God doing that he's burning down a whole church and not the Bibles? We can print another Bible. You can get a Bible from the goddamn Dollar Tree. You're gonna burn down the whole church? What the fuck, man? Like, oh, good, we have these Bibles here.
You know what? Get a fire extinguisher. Keep a Bible in hand to beat the fire with. Because that's just not going to catch in flames. Boom,
that's
boom,
true.
boom.
If you need to protect yourself from fire, you should have a Bible. Wrap yourself in the Bible verses. But yeah, so the story in the Bible starts with Abraham. So Abraham is God's chosen, or he's been chosen.
I thought that was Moses.
That's later.
So he gets to pick all these people?
Yeah, he's fucking God. He gets to do this shit.
Why wasn't I chosen?
Bitch, you know why you weren't chosen, because you're a sodomite.
I was chosen by Satan.
That's right.
The intellectual.
So Abraham was first chosen by God to like father his people, the chosen people, the Israelites, known today as the Jews.
I feel like I'm in school. I'm like sitting. I'm like,
oh, you're super excited. So anyway, so Abraham goes out into the wilderness.
Wait, did you say the Jews?
Yes, the Israelites become the Jews. Yes,
but I thought the Christians hated the Jews.
They do. That's whole later.
Wait, I'm really confused. Why are we learning about Jews if the...
Okay, so...
This makes no sense.
I'm going so far back. I'm having to explain. Okay, so here's how so the Bible, the first half of the Bible, the Old Testament, that Jews and Christians agree. This is what happened. We all agree on this. This all happened. Okay? And the whole first part of the Bible is telling us the history of the world, so-called, and it's explaining that the Messiah is going to come. Okay, so the Jews, the Christians, they're one. Exactly. The Messiah is going to come so hard.
And it's right in between the milk color and the cream.
Exactly. The perfect consistency. And so, anyways, so what happens is in the New Testament, Jesus comes to earth. And Jesus comes and he's like, hey, everybody, what's up? I'm the Messiah. I have come. And
everywhere.
I have come everywhere, and I'm going to save you all. And the Jews were like, sorry, but we've been waiting for 4,000 years, and we're going to wait longer because we don't believe that you're the Messiah.
Okay.
And this other group of people who were following Jesus, the followers of Jesus, were like, fuck you guys. This is totally the Messiah. He is here. We have entered into a new age, a new testament. And the Jews were like,
Christians will believe anything.
But they were the same people. It's just like some of the Jews and the Gentiles. So
were they all Jews? But like
no, split? some were Jews, some were Gentiles. When Gentiles,
the fuck is a Gentile?
People who aren't Jews. You're a Gentile. I'm a Gentile.
So if you're not Jewish, you're a Gentile.
Exactly. If you're not Jewish, you're Gentile, according to the Bible.
Okay.
Okay, so Gentiles. So they were the people, so the Gentiles had kind of been, like, the Jews were going around like, we're God's chosen people, we're so fucking special. Look at how special we are.
Saying that?
The Jews. For 4,000 years.
I'm not following.
Jesus Christ. For 4,000 years, the Jews are going around saying, hey, look at how fucking special we are. We're God's chosen people. And all the Gentiles are like, oh, I wish we were God's chosen people. When Jesus comes, Jesus is like, hey, Gentiles, I'll choose you too.
And Jesus was born to Mary, who actually had unmarried sex. But she wanted to pretend that
Mary
she didn't.
Was fucked by God, and she had Jesus.
She was fucked by the town. And then she told them all, I don't know what happened, everybody.
The truth is,
she had her
I
beard.
can't figure out who the father is, so we're just going to say it's God and call it a day. And then
everybody was like, you know what? We want to be just as equal to the Jews. So
exactly.
This is
the whole thing. So Jesus was like, he was extending grace to the Gentiles, which no one had ever done before. So that's why the Gentiles were all like, hey, we like Jesus. We think he's the Messiah. And a couple of Jews were like, we like Jesus. We think he's the Messiah too. But
a couple of the Jews did?
A couple of the Jews. But most of the Jews were like, no, this is not the Messiah. Absolutely not. We won't believe this. And that's where they split. And that's how you have the Christians, the followers of Christ, and the Jews, who are still sitting around waiting for their Messiah.
So it was the Jews, and then basically all Gentiles turned into Christians. In this story.
Anybody who followed Christ.
In this story.
Yeah, but that's way later. Because this story, you have to tell the story of the Jews before you can get to the Christians. Because
the Jews are the real originals. The Christians are imposters.
Exactly. The Jews are the OG, okay? That is, without the Jews, you do not have the Christians, okay?
Hey Queertians, thanks for listening to today's episode of Your Queer Story. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with your free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service.
I love Audible. I have had my subscription for over 2 years, and it is worth every single penny. I listen to it all the time.
I hate to read, but I love listening to things while I work. Audible gives me the opportunity to listen to the best-selling books while I'm at my computer or driving, and makes the day fly by.
And the best part is that Audible offers a wide variety of queer-friendly books as well. So you can listen to anything from The Queer History of the United States by Michael Bronski to over 200 LGBTQ fantasy novels.
To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/queer. Again, that's audibletrial.com/queer for your free audiobook.
So
you have a lot of work to do here.
I'm just going to let you know. We haven't even come close to the story yet. So, the father of the Jews, and essentially the Christians, respected by both groups, is Abraham, who God came to and said, Abraham, father my nation. Okay?
So why then wasn't Abraham the Jesus?
Because that Messiah is different. Abraham just got the ball rolling. Someone had to have the babies so that we could have a nation.
So Abraham
so that we could find
Mary.
To
make a pretend
Abraham
Jesus.
and Mary are in two totally different things. Paul,
were they in the same time period?
No.
Okay.
Abraham is 4,000 years before Mary. Abraham 6,000 years ago. Mary 2,000 years ago. Okay, 6,000 years ago.
Wait, Mary was from the year 19.
No.
She was 2,000 years ago. It's 2019.
Oh,
bitch.
yeah. No, well, 2019 years ago. Because this calendar, the 2000 calendar, starts with Jesus. Paul, our listeners are never going to get to hear the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. You have to let some questions go.
I need to know what we're talking about.
I'm trying to explain. You need to know. We haven't even got to Lot. He's who the whole fucking story is about.
Okay, go.
Abraham. He is the father of the Israelites. Okay? He's God's chosen guy. He's in the desert. He has a nephew named Lot. Lot he was sent there to live with his uncle Abraham. Okay?
Okay.
Now, Abraham's a really successful cattle farmer. All right? To put it in.
So he's God's chosen person. He's a fucking cattle farmer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Living in a desert. Yeah, God's real good to his own.
Cattle farmer in a desert? What the fuck does cattle eat?
Huh?
Dirt?
I don't know. That's just what
Sand?
we say the desert. It's the desert today. Back then, it was supposedly like a metropolis. You know,
it was like Jesus is white.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a very fertile area. He had grass. So what happens? So Lot wants to be like his uncle. He decides, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be a cattle farmer. But the problem is they're both becoming so successful that they don't have room where they're at. So Abraham's like, look, Lot, we got to split up. We got to go our separate ways.
Listen, I know I'm God's chosen person, and I should have all the power in the world, and I should be set. But my cattle don't have enough fucking sand to eat, so I'm gonna need you to move on.
That's exactly what happened. So he gives Lot, because Abraham's such a good guy, he gives Lot the choice. He's like, Lot, look, you can choose where you want to go. Wherever you want to go, you can go.
Just get the fuck out.
He's like,
listen, you just turned 18. I know you don't have a job. Get the fuck out of my house.
And take your cattle with you. No, he's like, look, you want to go wherever you want to go. You want to go to the east, I'll go to the west. You want to go to the west, I'll go to the east. And Lot goes and he finds the greenest pasture. He's like, I'm going to take the greenest pasture. And he goes over towards the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Mm-hmm. Okay? And Abraham, he goes out, to where the middle of bumfuck nowhere. All right? So as Lot's thriving, he gets sucked in by the city of Sodom.
I mean, how do you know?
It's the influence, right? Exactly.
You see all the booties?
Yeah.
You gotta go.
He's sitting there every day. He's watching these people have fun. They're enjoying themselves. And he just keeps inching closer and closer to the city. And before you know it, he's in the city. He's a part of the city. He's an esteemed member of the city of Sodom. He's got the cattle
walking around the city.
They're just out there grazing. He's got himself a nice condominium. On like a penthouse suite overlooking a real Trump Tower in the city of Sodom.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
do cattle go for that much?
I guess. I don't know. This is what the Bible says, okay? All right. I'm not even reading those verses, but you can go check it out in Genesis 17 and 18. You can check out the beginning of the story of Lot. So anyways, the problem is Sodom and Gomorrah are very wicked cities. And we don't know why. Well, we know why later, but it doesn't say much why. God just like, they're wicked. And he tells Abraham, you better be careful because your nephew, he's starting to get into some shit. And it's not going to go well for him. And Abraham's like, I don't know what to do.
Bring him back to the desert.
Yeah, bring him back to the desert. His cattle need to start eating some sand because they're getting way too full on that nice, lush green grass. So there's a whole story about that. I'm not going to get into that story because I had to explain.
I just picture a lot. He's got two guys sitting next to him, a little cocktail. He's sitting there smoking a blunt.
That probably was his life. For real, that probably was his life. So God tells Abraham, he's like, I'm so fucking fed up with the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to wipe them off the face of the earth. And Abraham's like, no, God, don't do it. And God's like, no, Abraham, you know me. I like to destroy shit. Remember that whole flood I did?
I killed everyone except for one man and all the animals and his daughters. So his daughter and him are technically the parents of everyone.
Well, he had his wife. He had his it was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. But one of the sons fucked your dad anyways.
You should be looking for a scholarship or something because technically you're descended from Noah. Or one of his... Well, even if you're descended from his children, you're still descended from Noah.
Well, yes, of course.
Where's my scholarship at, bitch?
I don't know. You have to prove that you're more than 1/64th and 1/1000th. Whatever. Anyway, so where was I at? Okay, yeah. So Abraham's begging God, don't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And God's like, I'm gonna fucking destroy this shit. And Abraham's like, but my nephew's there. And so they start bargaining. And you can find this in the story in Genesis 18 where Abraham's like, look, what if there's 1,000 righteous people in the city? Will you spare the city? And God's like, all right. And he looks and he's like, there's not 1,000 people. And Abraham's like, all right. What if there's 500 righteous people in the city? Will you spare it? And God's like, yeah. And there's not 500 people. And finally gets out and Abraham's like, what if there's 10 righteous people in the city? And God's like, okay. And there's not even 10 righteous people.
Because they're all smoking weed. They're all smoking weed and doing anal.
Exactly. So God's like, I'm sorry, Abraham, but I got to destroy the city. And Abraham's like, at least try to spare my nephew. So God's like, okay, I'm going to send 2 angels. So here's where we pick up the story, and I'll have Paul read from Genesis 19, 1 through wherever I tell him to stop.
So I just read the number 1?
The 2 angels arrived.
Okay. The 2 angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway to the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground.
Ass up.
Literally.
Yeah.
My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and booty and spend the night and then go on your way early in the morning. I ad-libbed a little bit. No, they answered. We will spend the night in the square. Sounds pretty dangerous.
To be honest, I don't know why
I'm just going to sleep on the ground in the middle of the city.
Because everyone knows that the safest part of any town is the town square. Go ahead.
But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate.
They say because unleavened bread, because Jews at that time weren't supposed to eat bread with yeast. I don't know if they still aren't, but
how does it doesn't rise. It's just like a flat piece of pastry.
I don't know, Paul. It's unleavened bread. That's exactly what it is. It's flat pastry. It's nice and crisp.
Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them." Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them to you, and you can do what you like with them. But don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof. But you can take my daughters, and you can do whatever you want. I don't care.
I got 2 virgins.
You want to gangbang them? You want to run a train? You want to spit roast them? I don't care. But just don't touch these men, because that's a sin." "Get out of our way," they replied. "This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them. We'll fucking spit roast you too." They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door.
So these motherfuckers are crawling around on all 4s.
They're all fucking and sucking dick. That's all they're
just trying to. They're coming for that dick.
So you know what? They're just like, you know what? There's one motherfucker in the town like, "I'm the fucking angels. Come, the angels over here, like, motherfucker.
Angels right here, boys. Get over here. Come get this."
The 2 men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-laws, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place." Why does the Bible have splits in the middle of the sentences? Why is 12 here and 13 here?
I don't know. That's how the verses. Those are verses. I don't know why.
So a verse starts, "because we are going to destroy this place." That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who were pledged to marry his daughter.
So his sons-in-laws who were pledged to marry his daughter. So his daughters that he just offered up to the whole town, he goes to the guys that were supposed to get him and like, "Hey guys, do you want to come?" How would you feel if like your father-in-law like gave away your fiance, like
his daughter
to the whole town? And
I just tried to get my daughter, your future wife, to be gangbanged, but
we're still cool, huh?
We're still cool, and you're gonna get out of the city with me because you are a man and you are inherently superior to my daughter.
Yeah.
So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law,
and he said,
Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking.
Which is fair.
With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you'll be swept away when the city is punished." Did it get burnt? What are they going to get swept? Is there a flood?
Yes, it's no fire and brimstone.
Why did he say swept away? You get burnt.
It just means swept away. It means carried away.
The Bible does not even make sense.
Oh, is this the part that doesn't make sense? Okay.
As soon as they had brought...
Hang on, before we move on. So if you're following, I think you are. This is the NIV version, because we used...
There's different versions?
Of the Bible, yes. So this is the sinner's version, if you want my honest opinion. But it explains more. So, you got Lot, he's there, the angels come, Lot offers his virgin daughters, the men of the city crawl around blind, trying to find some dick to suck, and Lot's trying to get everyone out. The thing about the story, which I was telling Paul before the episode, the sad thing about Lot offering up his daughters, it's not even the first time that someone offered up someone else to be raped. It's not that even the first time this story has happened. Well, no. There's a second time. This story happens twice in the Bible. It's a favorite story of the writers. So there's a story in Judges. It's one of my favorite stories.
You know what? This was written as erotica, and people took it way too seriously.
Yeah, decided to make a whole religion about it. They should have just been jerking off to it, honestly.
It was literally written as an erotica.
This could have been an episode on Game of Thrones. It could have been a whole season. So in the book of Judges, what happens is there's a guy traveling, and he's got his concubine, which is a mistress, his mistress with him. And, well, it's really a sexual slave, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, it's a sexual slave, his sex slave. And so he's traveling. He decides he's going to make camp on the side of the road. And an old guy comes by. He's like, hey, you shouldn't stay here. This part of the city is not safe at night. Come stay at my house. So the stranger, the foreigner, and his sex slave go with the old guy to the old guy's house. They're there. All the men of the city come up and they're like, hey, what's going on? We heard you got some fresh meat in there. Send this guy out. We're going to fuck him. Old guy's like, hey, don't do this. This guy's a stranger. He's just trying to pass through. Leave him alone. Men of the city are like, no, we want to fuck this guy. So the old guy's like, look, the stranger is like, look, I've got a sex slave. How about you guys take her, have some fun, do what you want. Sends her out. And the men of the city, the men of the city do take the girl, and all night they rape her and they beat her. Check out the book of Judges. You'll love it. They rape her, they beat her, they abuse her. She manages to crawl back to the steps of the house, falls dead on the steps. Stranger guy wakes up the next morning, literally says he walks over her body and he's like, hey, come on, ho, let's go. And she doesn't get up. He goes over, she's dead. So now stranger guy is angry because they just killed his sex slave. And how fucking dare they, after he was so kind to lend her to all the men of the city.
How dare you? So
rude. These people just have no social etiquette. So he takes the girl and he hacks her up into 11 pieces. And there's 12 tribes of Israel. He was in the tribe of Benjamin.
You know, he was the original Oprah. You get an arm, and you get an arm, and you get a
you get a leg, and you get an ass cheek. So he hacks her up into 11, because there's 12 tribes of Israel. He was visiting the tribe of Benjamin. So he sends her body to the other 11 tribes of Israel, and he's like, hey, look what the fuck the guys in the tribe of Benjamin did. They fucking killed my sex slave. I
cut her up into pieces, but they killed her first.
I cut her up in pieces after lending her out to be killed. This isn't right. So all the people in Israel came together and killed all the men in this one tribe because of what they had done. So my point is that this story is told throughout the Bible. It's not like this was a real, this is a story that's told again and again because it's not special or original or real. It's just a story that's really fun.
I just want to point out that they put straight sex in as much as a sinful light as they do gay sex.
What
basically.
Do you mean? Oh, because, yeah.
They're like, wow, this city was so terrible, we have to kill everybody because they were gay. Wow, this city is so terrible because they raped women. They're so terrible, let's kill the city.
It's the same thing.
Which one do they fucking pick on, though? Which one did they decide is the wrong one?
The Sodomites.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Lot. So Lot's got everybody together, and he's sneaking out of the city. And I'll pick it up. Oh, no, actually, you pick it up. And so the angels are with him. In verse 17.
As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, flee for your lives! Don't look back and don't stop anywhere on the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in my sparing life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me and I'll die. So dramatic. Fucking gay. Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared, and that's why they didn't send him out. Yeah. He said to him, very well, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. This is why the town was called Zor.
All right.
I'm really lost. I don't know.
So, yeah, I just went into the whole thing about Lot being like, I don't want to run to the mountains. It's just so much work. Climbing over all those rocks. Can I just go to the town next door? And they're like, fine, what the fuck? Get to the town. But whatever you do, don't look back. But verse 26 of chapter 19, but Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. So it's a very erratic story, right? Because we go from this young guy who moves into a city.
I'm so confused.
I'm confused myself. It's just like, this young guy moves to a city, enjoys the city life. God comes down and is like, I'm gonna fucking destroy the city. And comes there, sends his 2 angels. All the men of the city decide they're gonna rape these 2 angels. They refuse the free virgins. Lot gets out. The angels just give a last minute and don't turn out, as if the story wasn't already like chaotic enough. The writers decide, and then his wife turns into a pillar of salt. Okay. I guess.
You know that fucking salt you're putting on your steak right now?
That's Lot's wife.
You're eating Lot's wife. Good fucking job, cannibal. Another fucking sin.
That's right. Who cares at this point? So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and brought Lot out of the catastrophe and overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Lot and his 2 daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains. So he ended up in the mountains anyways. And the 2 lived in a cave. Oh, I can't even find the best part. And he and his 2 daughters lived in a cave. And one day the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth. Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father." And that night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down. And the next day the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with daddy, and now it's your turn." That's essentially what she said. So that night they got their father to drink wine again, and the younger daughter went in and slept with him. And again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up.
I'm sorry, but there's no way you're not aware of it. You have to have a boner. It has to be hard.
But have you ever woke up with a boner? Yes.
Oh, wait, yeah, but I would know if something was going on. You can't just not know.
He was drunk. And he was super tired. He had to climb all those mountains after running away from a city that's being burnt with fire and brimstone. And his wife was turned into a pillar of fire. The man was exhausted.
If I was that tired, I would not be able to get him on. This would not happen.
There's no way that it would you'd be able to get hard.
No.
I mean, but honestly,
This is the part of the Bible that doesn't make sense to everyone.
This is the part. He probably woke up, looked in one eye, and then just let it happen.
I mean, he probably did. I mean, everybody in the Bible was a sinner, so...
Everybody. I don't even tell you, there was so much sex in the Bible. So both his daughters, essentially what happens is both his daughters end up getting pregnant. And because of that, Lot became the father of the Ammonites, which was a group of people in the Bible. So... first of all, that is the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, a couple of the interpretations. So first of all, there's people that say that the sin in Sodom was not the men trying to rape the angels, but it was actually their inhospitality. So
just let everyone into your household. I don't care what.
Exactly. You have whatever happens, you have to be a hospitable person. Isn't Hoosier Hospitality, Indiana? Hoosier Hospitality.
Hoosiers are the least hospitable.
Well,
version.
Our slogan is Hoosier Hospitality, which is that we're really friendly to people.
No, they're not. They might say hi on the street, but then they'll be like,
they think they're super friendly and they take it real serious. And what we can get from that is that the real Sodomites are people that are not gracious to you when you visit their home. So that aunt that's always a little rude to you, she's a Sodomite. That's what I can say.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And we've all been Sodomites at some point or another.
I've never been a Sodomite.
You've always been friendly to people that come to your house.
Yeah.
What about the Jehovah Witnesses?
I invite them in. We have a nice cup of tea every time.
You're like, listen. I don't want to hear your line of bullshit, but I don't want to be a Sodomite, so I'm going to have you into my home so you can tell me. So when someone comes knocking, you better let him in, or you're going to be a Sodomite.
Yeah,
that's what we know.
That's what happens.
Yeah. So that's one interpretation. Other people say that the term Sodomites means sexual slaves of the temple. I didn't research enough into that. Maybe in a future episode. But I guess that's essentially what the Catholic Church has. So
yeah, I mean,
and we know that place is riddled with Sodomites.
Absolutely, all over. They're left and right. They're the ones running it.
Yeah, exactly. So now you know directly from the source itself. That's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and that is the term that's been used to
repress.
Yeah, to repress,
belittle. Mm-hmm. Control.
Yeah.
Destroy.
Exactly. show prejudice against the queer community for thousands of years. People are like, well, you don't want to be a sodomite, but now we...
You know what? The exact same story happened to straight people, but this is the one we're going to pick on.
Yeah, exactly. Which I guess if you could argue then is that because it also happened to a straight couple, maybe it was about hospitality. Maybe, but I still don't get why everybody's getting around wanting to fuck the new guy.
You know what? They've all been fucking their cousins for years.
And they're tired of it.
They're tired of it.
You tried fucking the same guy every single night, which I guess you do.
I have no problem with it, but these people, let me tell you,
they were over it.
They didn't have anything going for them. They were raising their sheep and cows, eating sand. They had their cousins to have sex with. And that was their life.
That was
So this new person came in, and they were like, wow. Let's all fucking gang rape him.
Everybody get it. That's just they're all sitting at the bar when they're like, hey, I heard a new guy came in town.
There's nothing wrong with the fact that it's gang rape.
No.
It's that in this one instance, it was the guys wanted to fuck another guy.
Yeah.
You know, they gang raped this woman. That's fine. Don't worry about that.
Mm-mm.
They murdered this woman. That's fine. Don't worry about that. But this one instance of men wanting to fuck another man, that's where everything goes wrong. That's where the downfall of society
because they refused the daughters. If they had just taken the daughters,
if they had just taken
the
daughter, spit roasted her, killed her, split her in half, and then chopped them up into 11 pieces each and sent them
that would have
everywhere.
been fine. We would have never even heard the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. But because they were like, when Lot was like, take my 2 virgin daughters, and like, we don't want your virgin daughters. That was it. That changed the trajectory of everything.
That was it.
They would have just been that unknown story in the book of Judges that nobody else knows except for me. I read it so many times. It was my only, the Bible was the only, really tantalizing stuff that I had.
The Bible was your porn.
It was my porn. I couldn't read real porn. My parents, they looked through my books. If there was anything that had the slightest bit of pornography, romance, anything, not romance, but real romance, it would have been taken away. Any queer stories would have been taken away. But I got them all through the Bible. So thanks, Mom and Dad. Appreciate you. You've made me the trans man that I am today. So that's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
A sodomy circus.
Sodomy circus, gotta love it.
Yeah.
They're riding their little unicycle. Every time the wheel turns, it's like the guy goes up and down.
Comes up and down on the dildo.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So we hope you appreciate that. Just a little bit of a kind of a fun episode. You can, your recommended resource for the day is the Bible, the book of Genesis.
You never thought you'd hear that, Peter.
We also did find, a website when I was looking for stuff called, it's a Christian website called Never Thirsty. So if you want to read your Bible online, you can go to neverthirsty.org and you can read all the Bible that you want, you thirsty bitches.
They even have a little link called Seeking God and a Bible Q&A. So,
good. Good. And we will say that it is not queer friendly, but it's a lot of fun.
If you want to just laugh at the website name, I mean.
Exactly. Neverthirsty.org. Read all the Bible you can online. They even throw in their own opinions for you because why not?
They're never thirsty, so they got the best opinions. They've never once wanted to have sex, the owners, ever.
Yeah, oh yeah. The Bible explicitly describes...
They even have a tab called About Christ. They will tell you everything you need to know about Christ because they know everything.
This is this expert they have on the sin of Sodom. The Bible explicitly describes the homosexual act. There is no doubt that God does not approve of this sexual behavior. The passage of 1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 10 is very explicit.
Can we talk about the fact that the passage is 69?
1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 10, yes, it says 69. And it is very explicit because it includes both the receiving and giving partners.
Yes, the top or the bottom, you're still a sinner.
Exactly. So for all those people that thought tops weren't sinners,
they even break it down. They've got different examples. Like, this is. They're like, since the passage is translated different by various Bibles, here are several examples.
So we can prove to you how right we are. There are 2 different Greek words that describe homosexual behaviors in 1 Corinthians 69. Oh, God. They got a whole big thing in here. Wow.
They've got like it's broken down pretty nice. I'll give it to that. They got like a conclusion. They've got references, suggested links.
So if you're thirsty, you can go to Never Thirsty, and you can
you have a good laugh.
You can have a good laugh. You can learn about yourself. Don't do it if it's going to trigger you, but if you're in a good mental state
and you want to laugh like I do,
you want to show your friends the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Neverthirsty.org. We're giving these homophobes some free traffic, but whatever. But thanks for joining us today, guys. Next week we've got some more good queer content, and we think we're going to be able to have a guest on. Fingers crossed. But it's looking good.
Stay queer.
Don't get a lobotomy.
You sucking and Sapphists.
We love you, our allied hookers, and we hope you all enjoy a good sodomy circus today.